I wouldn't be opposed to this.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
So this won't be a long video by any means, but I definitely want to talk to you guys about it. So apparently, Quin Snyder is in talks to be the next San Antonio Spurs head coach. Whoa. Okay, honestly, I don't even know when Popovich would even want to retire. But hey, you know, he's here right now. But once he's gone, it's being reported that Quin Snyder could potentially be the Spurs' next head coach. This is coming from Mark Stein. And yeah, so let's talk about it. So this is what he has to say. More and more, I hear Snyder's name as a potential Pop successor that the Spurs would naturally relish. Now, obviously, we won't get into the full quote, but that's basically the gist of what he had to say about it. And honestly, look, on paper, it makes the most sense. Like it is very, very perfect. Okay. And here's the problem. I think it's too perfect. It's way too perfect. Now, you guys know when it comes to Quin Snyder, I've always been a fan of his, especially in Utah, because in Utah, man, his teams have really looked Spurs-esque at times. Like, I mean, they have been some really good teams that he's had, and he's been a very good coach there. And obviously, he's another coach under the Pop tree. And yeah, it would just make the most sense. It will be beautiful. I mean, other than him, I would say Messina will be a good replacement. But, you know, overall, yes, it will be perfect. But that's the problem. It's way too perfect. I'm not going to go ahead and diss Mark Stein by any means, because, I mean, he has way more clout than any of us could imagine, right? So I'm pretty sure he is getting like legitimate information. But also with these reporters, you know, oftentimes they get, or these journalists and whatnot, they often get like a bunch of different sources, you know, and they have to cover so many different teams. So who's to say that this one is true? But with that being said, Quin Snyder being the San Antonio Spurs next head coach would make the most sense. I mean, as you guys know, he has coached for the San Antonio Spurs D-League team in the past and did a fine job. Did a fine job. So overall, makes sense. I like it. And yeah, I think he would be able to go into that role pretty seamlessly. And he knows the system. He knows the San Antonio Spurs. I would assume that Popovich would probably take a higher role. So I'm just gonna say this right now. I do not believe Popovich will retire and then just walk away from the Spurs and live on an island. I really do believe after Pop retires, it's going to be a semi-retire, but he's going to be back in that front office. Like he just loves sports too much, and he loves the San Antonio Spurs too much. Now, if he doesn't do that, that's fine. And I also want to say this as well. Whoever is the successor to Popovich, we're going to be set. It's not going to be some random. I guarantee you Popovich is going to be very adamant about whoever it is. So he'll talk to the front office in this regard, and I'm sure he'll talk to him and say, yes, I think that will be a great replacement. And another thing about Pop too, he seems like he's very approachable. So if Quin Snyder became the head coach, or if there's another, you know, person that became the Spurs head coach, I'm pretty sure Pop is just like one call away, where they can just hit him up and say, hey, I'm having some trouble. What should I do? Give me some advice. And Pop would be quick to do it. So Pop is going to have something to do with whatever next head coach we have regardless. And that's just my take on it. But overall, man, I really do like this report. Quin Snyder becoming the Spurs next coach is perfect. And that's the only thing that makes me scratch my head a little bit. It's a little too perfect. It's a little too perfect. One thing I want to mention as well, and they say it here, that Snyder and the Utah inked a contract extension for 4 more years after the 2020-21 season. So that would be an issue as well. So like, how would he even be able to get into that? Like, he would literally have to cut off his deal, or the Jazz will have to let him go, as it says here. And I don't know if that would necessarily be true. Now, as far as him becoming, you know, the Spurs head coach, whether or not would he want to do it, Quin Snyder kind of loves San Antonio. I mean, from what I remember, I mean, and he loves Popovich. So, I mean, it's some big shoes to fill, but I don't see why he wouldn't take that on. You know, but who knows? You know, he's his own person. I'm sure he has his own thoughts on it, but overall it does make the most sense. But yeah, that contract extension, I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do with that. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'll get with you guys later, man. Until next time.